Okay, so I'm going to try to film while doing this. With Hoodlum, what I'm looking for is swing through the back. What I want is his free walk to be releasing his entire body, which means that I want to see him stepping under, and I want to see swing through the back, and I want to see his neck scoping out with his nose well in front of the vertical. Out, buddy. And I do this by teaching nuance. So our first steps were lots of very ugly transitions that were very slow. The goal is the opposite of alacrity. We do not want speed. We do not want them instantly responding. We want them to tune into their body and release their tissue so that they can move correctly through their body to transition and move in general. Hoodlum knows a lot of ground cues. So he knows how to move out on a circle. He knows what the whip means. He knows the whip is not intended to hit him. The whip is intended to cue him. Although it can touch him, not in a cruel way, but in a like, no, you do need to do this way. So I'm really happy with this walk. He's stepping under himself. He's swinging through the back as much as he is able. He's started to open up in the front end and reach out through the shoulder. And so for nuance, what I want is him to push through the hind end. I don't want him to respond to the whip by walking faster. I want him to respond to my cue by being more deliberate in his movement. So I'm going to ask for more walk. And when he does even the slightest indication of more push, I'm going to say, good boy, and lay off, and then ask again. Good job. And if we get a good one, he will lick and chew. Good boy. So I'm teaching him nuance. I'm not teaching him obedience. Good. Good job. See, lick and chew. I don't know what we did, but we did something. A snort is also a release, so lick and chew, snort is all releases. Good job, buddy. Notice how he's also, while he does that, he scopes his neck out and moves it in new and interesting ways. So I don't know exactly what we released, but we released something, and that's always the goal, is to release something that was preventing him from performing optimally. So nuance. Good. So notice how he angled more of like almost a 45-degree angle to the rail. That's kind of his, I want to get out of doing this, because he'll try and flip directions. I've decided that I kind of listen to him when he says he wants to do that, because I'm trying to build a partnership, and it's actually better for his body awareness and development to change directions. So you want to reverse? Good job. So with this, I've been trying to think about how to explain this, because my horses are not allowed to get away with anything that I have decided is not acceptable. I allow my horses a lot of freedom because I want to see their personalities, but safety is not optional. And to move forward, they have to do things that are often uncomfortable and not pleasant. Yes, because body work is hard, huh, Hoodlum? So you can see he's more stiff and stuck on the side. He's rolling through the back actually pretty well, almost to the wither, but it's very sticky and lurchy, sort of like a car that lurches. It's not smooth. It's not a nice dressage free walk. He's more closed down in the front end than he was in the other direction. And when I say closed down, the front end should be like a wheel. So you should see lift like a wheel when they're on the upswing. So there's the top of the wheel, top of the wheel, top of the wheel, top of the wheel. And so you want that front end movement in the shoulder to be as close to almost a wheel as possible. So actually, when I say in the shoulder, it's the humerus to the elbow to the shoulder. That shoulder humerus, elbow, we want that operating in a wheel shape, because then that allows the lower leg to be free. I have another horse with an injury because he trips on himself. If you need to itch, you can itch. I also don't want my horse to be uncomfortable. So if they indicate they need to itch and he needs to do that, I'll allow it. Because as everyone knows, itching is a really uncomfortable thing. Good boy. So I took my attention off of him to make this video, and you can see what his walk has turned into. So I'm going to ask for him to push. Good job. And any response is a good job. We're not going for the end goal. We're going for a response. That's the difference between nuance and body work versus just obedience. So, good. What I'm looking for is just more push from the ground, more connection, more length, more conscientious movement. And if he gives me anything indicating any movement in the correct direction, I'm going to relieve the pressure. And then I'm going to ask again if it's not fully what I want. Walk on. I also use tone and my intensity to indicate how close he is to what I'm looking for, or how much effort I want him to put in. Good boy. So you saw how he kind of lost his front end there. That's why we do this. It's very dangerous to not have a horse that can use their body appropriately. That's how Houdini ended up with his knee all jacked up, is because he tripped and fell with me on him because I didn't address the things in his front end because I didn't know how to at the time. Good job, buddy. So this is a better walk than it was, but it's still not great. So we're going to ask for more. Good job. And hopefully you can see that there's more push, but he's still wagging in his hind end and not really moving through his body. There's some kind of block in his back. So I'm going to ask again. Horses will unwind themselves in a correct free walk. Literally, they will work out their own restrictions within their body. So getting them to the point where they can free walk is kind of my first goal now with horses. Out. So he knows that sweeping out means to step out. Now, if he was truly correct in his body, he would essentially leg yield or half pass or whatever to the rail. Instead of leading with the shoulder and angling his body, he would actually step under. But that's a function of the limitation of his hind end. We're not there yet. So even though he's still kind of stiff looking, I'm happier with this walk. He's moving more through his loin and he's swinging more, which the more he swings naturally, not some artificial swing, the more he's going to unwind himself. Walk on. Come on. Good job. Good. Good boy. So he did a better walk and then he backed off again because we've still got a block. If we released a restriction, the nice walk would continue and it wouldn't require pressure to maintain it and keep it. Because the reality is that a nice free walk feels amazing. It's the same with humans. If your body is working, a good walk will release your restrictions. But you have to be at the point where you can accomplish that good walk. If you've got a block that keeps you from accomplishing the good walk, it'll just, instead of improving your movement and releasing blocks, it will contribute to your restrictions. Good job. Good boy. So look at what he's doing in his throat latch. See how he's kind of reaching and stretching? I love to see that. It's not what I want in a walk. It's what I want in releasing, in working through restrictions, because he's creating space and mobility in the cervical vertebrae in between his skull and his spine. Good job, buddy. So I'm going to ask for more. So nuance here, right? Come on. And he's indicating he kind of wants to quit, but this is the point where we push, because this is the point where sometimes at higher speeds or gates, you have to ask yourself the risk to reward, because you're pushing on the relationship to ask them to do things that are uncomfortable or maybe they're not quite fit enough for. But sometimes you need to get them to the other side of a restriction so that they can begin to unwind themselves. Good boy. So when he turns his head to the wall like that, I'm beginning to take it as an indication that he wants to change direction. So we're going to do that. Good boy. Good job. Walk on. Good boy. You're so handsome. You're so good. Walk on. So you can see how sticky he is. And he wants to quit, but that's not an option, right? So even though a walk doesn't look like much, a correct walk is a full body experience. And if you're releasing restrictions, it's also very tiring. Ask me how I know. Hoodlum. Ask me how I know. Good job. So I love how he's picking up more in the front of the wheel of his shoulder to humerus ratio. Shoulder to humerus ratio. In the shoulder to humerus to elbow joint. You can see that he's almost got like an upward angle instead of a straight across, which means his chances of tripping are lower. Good job, buddy. So any extra movement in the neck, well, unless it's really, really jerky or crazy, is something I want, because mobility is increased in the awkward movements where you're encountering your restrictions and gently releasing them, not in looking pretty in the places where you can already move. Good boy. So we're going to start doing a little bit of trot now. So I'm going to ask for more walk, because I don't want him to think that when I ask for more, it means speed. When I ask for more, it means engagement. So nuance again. So good job. Come on. Good boy. Come on, buddy. Good boy. So the fact that he's not offering to really go tells me a lot about where he's at and how uncomfortable he is. Horses are natural forward movers. So if you're not seeing forward movement, come on. There's a reason for it. Generally speaking, horses want to move. They are athletes. Good job. So I'm looking at his upper body and looking at how much he's rolling through the back and swinging. And I'm very happy with this. His belly almost looks more dropped. And that's not a long-term goal. But in the short term, what that means is that he is releasing tissues that have artificially supported his belly and made him look like he might be using his abs. Houdini decided to come out and play. When in reality, it was just tension and restriction. So in the short term, a dropping belly is a good thing. Hi, Bobby. Good boy. And look and chew. All right, out we go. I'm going to let him go out to the rail and pick his direction. So I was going to trot, but then the indicators were there that the trot was not the right ask. Because he was unwilling to do it, it meant that there was something he was working through. And I want him, so just there, I don't know if you could see that, he had a little more energy to his walk. That's what you should see. Horses should want to move, and if they don't want to move, there's a problem. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't need to ask anyway. Come on. Okay. Come on, buddy. Come on. Good job. Good boy. Good job. Dini, you're kind of in the way, buddy. Good job, buddy. All right. Come on. So he's resisting. That's what the head turn to the wall is. But we're going to push through this. Good job. Because I don't know if it's tired or an actual restriction. So notice his ear is turned to me. He's a little grumpy. Good boy. Neck is moving more. Good job. Come on. No, it's not an acceptable response. Try is the only acceptable response. Good job. All right. Good boy. See? He says, that was hard, Mom. And lick and chew, a release. He had to push something to go up and gate. And there was a restriction there that he worked through. It's where the resistance came from, which is why I pushed him through it. Good job, buddy. All right. Come on. Good boy. Good job. So I am not looking for a trot. I'm looking for transitions because the transitions are what are going to free up tissue right now. There is a point where he's free enough where I ask him to do a nice forward, relaxed, stretchy trot. We're not there yet. Hope we get there, or hopefully get there, when he's willing to move and he offers it. What we're looking for is offering. I want my horse to want to do the thing. And if he doesn't want to do the thing, as an athlete, I'm going to go with the presumption that something is wrong and there's a reason for it. That doesn't mean we don't still have to try, but I'm going to be respectful of his limitations. Good job. Good. Good. So he's trying, but he's also wiggling his butt instead of pushing through. Good job. See how grumpy his face is? He says, I don't want to. It's hard. Good job. Come on. Good job. So I don't nag, but I do apply pressure lightly, gently, and saying no isn't an option. I get to choose what we do. They get to choose when they offer to do it. And that is the framework that I work within most of the time. Come on. Good job. Deanie, are you assisting? Your brother's going to come eat you. Hoodlum loves to bicker with his brother. It's his favorite. Oh, you tell him, Deanie. Deanie is 30 and I've been trying to figure out some nutrition stuff, so I took him off all their supplements. And Deanie looks ouchy today, so he needs his Equiox back. Good boy. Oh, sorry, buddy. So you notice that he was startled that I touched him, which was actually a fail on my part because it was not my intention. But he is not afraid of the whip because I do not beat or hit. I tap or touch or ask with the whip. The only exception is in a safety threat. Like if there's a safety threat, safety trumps all other rules. Good boy. Okay, so this walk, the posture of it is very nice. And I'm trying to identify why it's so nice because it's a little slower. Hi, Deanie. And Deanie, he's hanging with us. Good boy. You're so handsome. All right, you. So as you can see, he knows that there's no bite to the whip. Good job, buddy. So that's a nice walk. That's a really nice walk. But he still doesn't want to trot. So we're going to, come on. So he gave more push. So even though I want to trot, good boy. I'm going to accept that because that's the no. Good job. So did you see more push? Good job, buddy. Hi, Deanie. Good boy. That's a really nice walk where he's using himself correctly. Now he's running into his restrictions, which is why it doesn't look as big as it could. He's using himself really well, but he only has so much mobility right now. Good job. Good boy. See his grumpy face? He's like, this is hard, Mom. It's hard. Come on, a little more. Good job. Nuance. I want push. I want responsiveness. I want correct through the body. I want my horse to improve physically, emotionally, spiritually, if you will, every time I work with him. That's not always achieved, but it's always the goal. Good boy. So I don't know if you can see, his belly looked dropped when he was releasing. And now he's lifting through his front end. The front of the wheel has more height to it and more extension. The wheel is working. He's using his neck now. Notice how he's reaching out and doing some funky things. It doesn't look pretty. We want that because that means he's getting into a restriction. Good job. Tail swishing. He's annoyed. We're getting into something uncomfortable or icky or whatever that he doesn't totally enjoy or he doesn't want to walk anymore. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. So then, I don't know if you can see, his eyes just got heavy and he got a little tired there. And his walk died down. Hi, Deanie. You're kind of in the way, baby. So we're going to ask for more. I want to get to the trot because he needs it to push through some stuff, but the barn is closing soon. So, okay. Good. So when I want something, I'm going to release when he does the right thing. Good. But I'm going to keep applying it quickly. There. Good boy. All I wanted was the activity of the hind end to go to trot activity. He did that for like 1 or 2 steps, and then he released. That is what I want. I'm not looking for a trot. I'm looking for his body to improve. And once we have unwound the things, the trot will be easy and offered. Good boy. Watch his expression, see how grumpy he is. It's hard, Mom. Come on. Come on. Good. So he gave me more walk, but he really doesn't want to trot. Come on. See his grumpy face? Good boy. Come on. Good job. Good boy. Oh, I know, so hard. All I'm looking for is the offering. And he did that. It's not about the trot. It's about the engagement and the willingness and the improvement. Nuance. So he has now released more and has more swing. I don't know if you can see in the video because I doubt you can, but his hips, he's swinging so much that his hips are poking out. Now he is massively overweight. I'm having major nutrition challenges right now, figuring out what to feed my 2 children with opposite needs who are together. Anyway, so I don't know what's releasing in his body, but I can see the changes externally. And he now has a roll through his hind end and up through about the back third of his back that he did not have when we started. And so he's steadily improving his free walk. You're so good. Should we go the other way, buddy? I feel like you've been going this way for all eternity. Let's reverse. Even though I have a lot more I want to release in that direction, I do try to keep it somewhat even. Okay. Good boy. Good job. Good job. Okay. Good boy. So see how stiff he is now that he switched to this direction? Hi, Deanie. Good boy. Good job. We love neck movement. He's like, I want to be done. I know it's hard. Don't mistake the slowness for this for not being hard work. He is using muscles that haven't been used in years as we release things through his body, and he uses his muscles in a new way. Because what you do when you release things is you change how everything functions. It is a complex system, so you have no idea how intense something is in their body. It's why every human should experience body work and physical therapy and pain for themselves so that they can begin to understand. Just because it's not expressed in the exterior body doesn't mean you're not experiencing it internally. Good boy. All right, a little more walk. Good job. So you see that? Like, he struggled. Something prevented him from fully clearing that front leg when he threw his head at me. And now he's licking and chewing. So he released something. Now he's turning his head to the gate because this is hard. He don't want to do it. It's hard. It's stiff. It's uncomfortable. He's using his body in new ways. It's not pleasant. Well, I say it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant in the moment, but the release is euphoric. At least it has been for me. When you can finally use your body the way it was intended to be used. Good job, buddy. Good boy. So the tail swish, the annoyance, the grumpy face, he's working through something on his own, which is why I'm not pushing him to give me more speed or whatever. He's right at the edge of a release, and I'm letting him work through it. And then now that those signs are gone, I will talk to him. Good boy. Notice how he really responded really well there? Good job, bud. Good. Also, any response is a response. So if your horse responds by swishing their tail, that may be the correct response, because what you're looking to do is build communication. I had a mentor tell me once that he would reward a horse for bucking, and I was 19 at the time, and I had no idea what he meant. But the reality is that when you are asking your horse to do something, any response is opening the line of communications. And depending on the situation, a tail swish or a buck or a grumpy face may be rewarded. And by rewarded, I mean release the pressure, because it's a response. They're engaging in conversation, even if it's not the response you want. It's sort of like someone giving you the silent treatment versus yelling and screaming at you. Nobody wants to be yelled and screamed at, I don't think. But it's better than the silent treatment because it is opening the doors of communication. Good boy. Good job. All right, walk on. Give me more. Come on, a little more. Good job. Okay, notice use of neck, lick and chew. And then he died down a little, and his his hind leg apparatus got stiffer and straighter instead of bending through his joints. So that's something to watch and let him work through, because he's now changed the way he's moved. And if you look at his top line, it is, I don't know how to describe it, lengthened and smoothed out. And he wants to quit by coming into Houdini right here. Hi, baby. Good job. Good boy. Walk on. Good job. So the willingness of that push was much more, prevalent than it has been for the last, 5-10 minutes. So I'm very excited that he offered, because when they offer like that, it means that they've really made progress in moving in a new way. All right. Good job. Hi, Bubba's. Houdini's coming over to hang with me. Or, nope, he's going over to explore the rail. Good boy, Hoodlum. So there's still, right there's a stabby nature to how he puts his foot down instead of stepping through. I don't know where the pain is coming from. I sucked at identifying lameness when I was in school. but I can recognize that that's not the movement I want and something is ouchy or restricted. I would take a wild guess that it's in his lumbar spine right above his like last rib. And the reason for that is because that's where the swing that he's developed stops. So he has this big swing in his hind end and then itty bitty swing in the front of his back. Hi, bubbies. Deanie, you're looking your age, bubby. Good job. Good boys. Did not intend this to be such a long video. Walk on. Good boy. All right, so see how his walk quality like really went downhill in the hind end? It's jerky. It's like limited in scope. The length of it is shorter. It's stabby. But it means that he's working into a restriction right now. Now, we don't want to allow restrictions to continue forever. So he's not showing indications that he's working through a release. There's no tail swishing, there's no grumpy faces, there's no neck swinging. So I'm going to ask for a little more walk. Good job. So that I can push him through this restriction. Good boy. And I just realized that they pooped in here and I need to clean it up. Good job. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. So see how reluctant he is? I'm not going to punish my horse because he's working into a restriction. We're going to respect that he's going through something internally. Did you see him throw his head at me? It means he's hitting on something that's uncomfortable and he's like, I don't like this. He's also been very gassy and almost, well, not full colic, but like uncomfortable from gas. Even though he's on all the supplements. Good boy. So I love that he reached down. Good job. Because any reach down like that means he's lengthening through his spine and he's giving me grumpy looks, which means that he's working through something that's uncomfortable and hard. And he's very upset at me for making him continue to walk. Yes, he's so hard. Huh. And so see how he slows down and he's trying to see if I'm gonna like ask him for more. He's giving me looks. All right. Grumpy looks. So I'm going to see if I can assist him in working through whatever this is. Good boy. Good job there. So just a little bit of extra support from me to kind of push him through something uncomfortable, and we get a lick and chew. Now we should see a change in the nature of his walk. So let's see what we see. So he's still slow in the hind end. He's giving me looks, so he's still working through something. I'm going to push him out. Good boy. He's got, let's see what we got going on here. So he's using his neck. He's got more forward, but he's very stiff in the hind end. He's almost lost some of the freedom that he had gained because he's working into a new restriction. And so he had to regress to get into it. Good boy. Good job. So he just freed up his whole body. I don't know how to describe what I'm seeing. It's a feeling. There's just more freedom of movement throughout his body, more energy. And so I'm going to ask him to trot because what we've been doing is releasing. And then we need to integrate the changes because he doesn't know that he can move in a new way. Because you don't know that your body is different until you go to use it. And if you don't integrate it, you won't get the full benefit of all the changes you've made. Good boy. So again, with just a few trot steps. Now, if we've really done good progress, he will do a few trot steps and I will continue asking, and then he's gonna offer to trot and continue. And it'll be a nice quality that's stretchy. But, so our goal is for a horse to be able to offer correct movement without us doing anything. We want their natural movement to be ideal, or as close to ideal as we can get. Good boys. Oh, poor Bubba's. He's had a hind leg abscess issue going on now for a hot minute. Good boy. Come on. Good job. So it took a hot minute to get him to, good boy. So did you see the energy increase there? That was all him. I was not cueing for that. Come on. Good boy. Good job. Again with the nuance. I want push. I don't want response or training. Or sorry, I do want response. I want just response in whatever way he offers, because what he offers is what he needs. Hi, Bubby. Good job. So that trip is an indicator of his body moving in a new way and not really knowing where he's at. Yeah, I saw that. See that grumpy look he's giving me? He's like, Mom, stop. I'm tired of doing this. Oh, but look at the energy he just had. I just went to cue him. There's a lot more energy in his body. All right. Come on. Good job. Grumpy face. That's what we want. See how he's stretching and scoping through even more of his neck. So he's almost to, I don't actually know where the vertebrae are all. Probably like C6 maybe? Is there a C6? I need to look at my anatomy, figure it out. But essentially the front, I don't know, quarter of his neck, from his skull, from his poll, to about a quarter of the way down. He has way more motion and movement in those vertebrae. And neck mobility is like where it's at. Good boy. All right. We got to be done because the mind's closing. So I need you. Good job, grumpy face. Again, I want responses and communication. Yeah, I see that. So he's right at the edge of something that he doesn't want to release. That's what the grumpy faces are. So I'm going to keep pushing on him a little and being like, no, I need a response. I'm going to need you to do something. Good boy. Also, all over energy counts as a response. So if he doesn't make visible push changes or whatever, but the energy shifts in his body to where he has just more, I don't know, something, more pizzazz, then that it counts as a response. Good boy. I'm also turning up. Good boy. So did you see how he pushed? He didn't go into the trot, but he pushed through there and he gave me a grumpy look, and now he's licking and chewing. That is probably the best response I could ask for because he was using himself correctly. Yeah, I know it's so hard. Even though we didn't trot, that was actually better than trotting because the trotting is a poor compromise for getting true correctness through that hind end. Don't walk through your poop, please. I need to clean that up. Oh, so he's about to offer. I don't know if you could see how he kind of tucked his head and he lifted through the base of his neck. That he's getting to the point where he's going to offer me what I want without me having to really push him. Good boy. So he got me more energy. And honestly, the more energy instead of more push is the indicator that he is getting to the point where he can move more comfortably and really do something cool with his body. All right. Good job. Again, with the like kind of trippiness, right? His body is moving in a, grumpy. His body is moving in a new way. It's different, which means he's gonna be more, well, so here's the caveat with all of this work is when you change completely how a horse moves or you move, your risk of injury for a brief period of time is going to be higher because you're using muscles, tendons, and ligaments and joints and whatever that have not been used in that way before. So There's a balance here. Good job. So I don't know if you can see, but it's almost like he just collected a little and kind of engaged his core and shortened through the body, not in a disconnected, disengaged way, but in a lifting of the abdominals and engaging the hind end and a lifting of the withers way. So that's the grumpy looks here, because this is hard. But he's offering it, right? I'm not asking him to do that. I am just directing him in a way for him to release his body so that he physically can do the things. And he's giving me grumpy faces. He's also very feisty and has a lot of attitude in the best, cutest possible way, which I adore. And so, good boy. So look at the natural energy of this walk. I'm not bugging him. I'm not asking for this. I'm walking with him because he needs to continue doing this. He's giving me grumpy faces, so he's at the edge of something. And I'm gonna keep asking. Good boy. Also, until you push them, they don't know they can, right? He doesn't know that he can move in a new way because all he knows is that he couldn't. It's the same as your physical therapist, if you have a really good one, who knows your limits better than you do after they release it and they have you integrate the changes. Good boy. So look at how he's using his neck. He's scoping. Now through the upper third of his neck, he's stretching and contracting and moving in interesting ways energetically. I would like to see him more nose out, because I don't like how he's shortening right at the, like right behind the pole. I really want to see stretchy for him. He's not a high level horse. He is supposed to be doing training level. So we want stretchy and long and swingy. Good boy. So grumpy face. He is at the verge of a really big breakthrough. Come on. Good job. I'm going to keep pushing on him because we are out of time. Good boy. So look at his grumpy face. That's the other thing about the good boys. I know it's hard. And so I'm acknowledging that it's hard. And I'm acknowledging that he's trying no matter what his facial expression is, right? He's doing what I ask. He's trying, even though it's hard. Good boy. So I love to see him swing his head around and then lick and chew, because that requires, being crazy with your head and neck requires a lot of mobility, and it releases things. Play is very important, Hoodlum. Good job. Come on. Good boy. So I love this walk. He's got more movement right behind the pole. He's got energy. He doesn't have as much swing as I would like, but it's because he's freeing things in the front end that have been really stuck. All right. Good job. Grumpy expressions count as a response because his grumpy expressions also mean he's moving and using his head and neck in a odd way, which is going to help release things that would not be released if he was just straight. And he's not truly straight because he doesn't know how to do straight because his body doesn't allow it yet. Good job. Good boy. Now, normally I would do this over a lot more time, but the barn is closing. Good job. So you see how soft that was? That was not like an ideal dressage trot, but that was ideal for our purposes because he moved through his joints. Once he can move through his joints, and his body, then we can begin doing strengthening and things. But he's got to be able to move, otherwise we're strengthening things that are a part of compensation patterns and restrictions instead of releasing the things so that we can strengthen the correct things in the correct way and prevent injury. And move ideally in a way that feels really good. All right, come on. He doesn't want to go, but he needs to go to really enjoy the freedom of movement. This is a horse that likes to go. And because I'm having trouble with his weight and everything, he's not on pasture and they're just on a dry lot. And so it's big enough to move a little, but not to really go. Good job. All right, come on. Good boy. So notice how he got stabby in the hind end there. Come on. Good job. I love that he threw himself around there because even though it wasn't like correct movement, he challenged his body in a new way. Good boy. Come on. Good job. So did you see how soft the trot step to walk was? I want him to really trot forward to integrate the changes, but that was a lovely use of his joints. And he had mobility all the way up to about the back third of his back. And now he's doing a little bit of shortening through his body to carry himself. Come on. So I'm going to ask him to really go because I need him to enjoy this. This is not ideal and not what I would do if I wasn't running out of time. Come on, buddy. But I want him to have fun. So he loves to run. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Good boy. Good job. Come on. Come on. He doesn't get to run. Good boy. So I really want him to have fun and get to really feel how this feels. See how he looks kind of gimpy? He's gimpy. And that's because he's moving in a new way. It also could be that he has something like actually ouchy. Good job. And I want him to move in both directions. So I'm going to have him go the other way. Again, this is not how I would ideally do this. I would really like to do this slow ramp up until he offered to really move forward. But when you're short on time, you can have them really do whatever is happy for them. So you can see how gimpy he looks. That's a restriction issue, not a lameness issue. He's using himself in a new way, and there's tissues that are too short or tight to move correctly. All right, come on. Come on, buddy. But I want him to feel his body and get to enjoy that. Good job. So you can see how gimpy he looks, right? Good boy. We really challenged him to move in new ways. Hi, Deanie man. All right, I'm calling that good because the barn is closing in like 10 minutes and I still need to wrap this child's foot. You're so cute.